Hi, I'm Ben Leonberg, the director of Good Boy, here with my dog, the goodest boy himself. On behalf of Indy, we are so grateful and thrilled to be recognized for his work in a movie he does not totally understand he was in. This award and incredible group of nominees reflects the freedom that horror gives performers, and in our case trainers, to play, experiment, and to push the boundaries. This is a genre fueled by originality and reinvention, and by audiences who are the most eager to see something new. And to be recognized along such amazing actors as Alison Brie, Ethan Hawke, Sophie Thatcher, Sally Hawkins, and Alfie Williams is incredible. Indy is honored to accept this award, especially knowing that he's standing alongside performers who didn't even need to be bribed with treats in order to hit their marks. Indy and I also have to thank the humans who made his performance possible. To Good Boy's amazing cast and crew, your patience, generosity, and belief made every moment work on screen. Indy quite literally could not have done this without you. Thank you again. We are so delighted.
I prefer a certain formality on the bridge. I'd appreciate it if you wore a standard uniform when you're on duty.
Of course, sir.
It's 8 p.m. It's Monday. Welcome to another edition of the Madman Cafe. A lot going on. A lot. Later, we will be talking Batman 2. A little bit of Starfleet Academy. We should have a good laugh with that. We have some other stuff that's coming across our headlines and some important stuff here and there. But before we get into it, remember, like, share, subscribe. We really do appreciate it. And also, don't forget, coming soon, Peter Jurassic will be joining us on the Babylon 5 retrospective, 8 p.m. Eastern, January 28th. That's right. He'll be joining us on Sci-Fi Snob's channel, and you'll be able to ask him questions. Now, the way you ask questions, we'll be leaving links in our descriptions. There is a Discord channel on Sci-Fi Snob's Discord. You can leave your questions there, and we'll be able to give them to Peter when he comes to visit. So please leave those questions. We really do appreciate it on there. And also, we already got our first guest for this evening. Let me bring out Outpost Nerd.
What's up?
Hey, Outpost.
What's up?
What's going on?
Not much. Just freezing down here in the Sunshine State.
You're freezing? We're 38 degrees up here. What's it down there now?
It is 42, but it's supposed to get in the low 30s tonight.
Oh my God! I know I was watching some of the live streams from Disney. There were people wearing shorts in Orlando, so it's got to be warmer in Orlando than where you're at.
That is almost 10 hours from where I'm at.
Yeah, that's what I figured. That's what I figured on that.
A lot of people don't realize there are people living here in the northern part.
Oh yeah. You know, all across the Panhandle and all that. And I know it gets colder there soon. You know, more often than it does in Central and Southern Florida.
No, when my mom and dad got married, my dad was in the Navy, so they got stationed up in Boston. Expected snow, but it was the warmest summer they've had in decades up there. This was 79. No, this was in 81, 82. They typical military thing. They meet people from all over the world, and they met someone from out like the Northwest, a couple from the Northwest, and my mom tells her where she's from. She's like, I didn't know people lived there. It's like, wow, what do you think? It's just between Orlando and Atlanta, just empty space.
That's not good.
People,
You know,
we're
hey,
called the Forgotten
listen,
Coast for a reason.
hey, listen, we're Staten Island. We're the bastard stepchild of New York City. So you know,
Yeah, I know a lot of
we're
people are probably going
forgotten.
to be leaving
Everybody
with it.
forgets about us.
Everyone's
You know,
probably going to be leaving in a year or two.
not in Staten Island. The ones that are leaving are the wimpies because they say, "Oh no, oh no." Let me tell you something. Let me tell you a quick story before we get into things. You know, they say, "Well, you got a socialist mayor, he's communist and stuff like that. New York's not going to survive." We had one back years ago. We had a socialist mayor.
Not like
His name
this.
was
You didn't.
Mayor Dinkins. He was part of the socialists, Democratic Socialists of America, and we made it through him. It wasn't great times, but we made it through. And then we got Giuliani after that. And what happened? New York City got rebuilt from the ground up. Crime and all that got cleaned up. The city got cleaned up. The subways got cleaned up. Times Square was rebuilt. You know, we went through a good era until Bloomberg got to us, and then everyone afterwards. You know,
I
ruined the
saw an
city.
interview with Bloomberg, and he was just the biggest moron during the interview.
Oh
It's like,
yeah, him, Adams, freaking what's his name in between? You know, they're all morons. They're
yeah,
all morons. But hey, listen, let's leave that aside for now. Um, One thing I got to put out there today. Guess what?
hmm.
We got a date for the new Godzilla movie.
Hmm.
Godzilla
This
minus
what?
zero is coming, and it's coming next the November this November.
Hmm.
Actually, close to the original date for the original movie. No, I think the original movie minus one was November 5th. This is coming November 6th.
Hmm.
You know.
You know, I didn't mind the MonsterVerse movies. I did not
Oh no,
mind.
this is not the MonsterVerse. This is
I know. I'm
no,
saying the
yeah,
the Godzilla MonsterVerse movies. I didn't wait. MonsterVerse. That's
that's legendary.
Frankenstein. I didn't mind. I didn't mind the recent ones they did.
Hmm.
I thought like, okay, we're getting a lot of Millie Bobby Brown. Let's get someone else in there.
Yeah, they were okay. They're okay. I prefer these. You know, one thing is Toho is always great with kaiju movies,
One
and
of I did love the line. I think it was in the second one where they have what's the dragon's name? The three-headed one,
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah in it, and he's
Hmm.
just rampaging through Boston, and they're trying to get Godzilla's attention with that little like boombox device,
Hmm.
and her line is like, she finally gets it turned on, and she looks at Ghidorah. What's his name?
Ghidorah.
Ghidorah right in the eyes. She's like, "Hail to the king,
Yeah.
bitch!" And all of a sudden, Godzilla comes in and starts kicking ass.
Yeah. If it becomes hard on Ghidorah, use Monster Zero. Any big fan knows from the Astro Invasion movie from years ago.
But I did like Godzilla versus Kong. I really enjoyed that. I,
The original one, or the
the
legendary
one they
one.
did just recently.
Oh, you gotta see the legend. I mean, the original one. That was always the best one.
But I'm not a purist like you, I guess, when
Well,
it comes
no,
to
it's not
Godzilla
that.
movies.
It's not that. You have to remember. You got to think of the era. Okay,
Yeah, I mean it was just
Godzilla
basically
belong.
guys in suit.
Godzilla licensing is an American at the time, and this is years. In that time period, Toho had the licensing for Godzilla. MGM had the licensing for King Kong.
Yeah,
So for them to do something like this, and the thing about it is, the contract was for two movies,
and
and
then
but
what, like 4 or 5 now?
no, they didn't do two. They only did two movies, but the thing about it is the second movie that they did had Godzilla wasn't even in it. It was
Yeah,
called
that was a
King Kong
King Kong
Escapes.
movie.
Yeah, it was just a
Yeah.
pure Japanese one. Was King Kong Escapes, which was good. It was like like Mecha Godzilla. There was a Mecha Kong that he was fighting,
Of
which was
course there was.
which was really cool. I mean, those old films were really really good. I mean, even
Mm.
going into the '80s and into the '90s. and the early 2000s stuff. Yeah, they're all
Well,
were good. I
that's
mean,
why
they
we have Power Rangers, because Power Rangers is basically giant robots versus kaiju's.
yeah. Well, no, that's always been a
Yeah,
major stay.
I'm saying the reason we have Power Rangers is because Godzilla and all these movies we're talking about.
Yeah, because
Super
Power Rangers
Sentai.
goes back to the 60s.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
I remember
the
Go
mighty
Sentai Rangers.
the um the
Trying to
mighty
remember
the
the other one.
version that Mighty Morphin's based off isn't even like the original Super Sentai. It's like I think the 11th or 12th, like
Hmm.
way down the line, and they have so many that they've decided weren't good enough to translate to English. Like there's one that Lightspeed Rescue was based off of called Rail Rangers.
Yes.
It was Super Sentai Rail. Like basically, they had the power of trains. Like their suits were like they had a wheel on their helmets and a train track across their chest. But then we saw
Yeah.
like the Lightspeed Rescue Rangers used a couple of their stuff.
See, when I was growing up, I like the ones then that instead of using Zords and stuff like that, to destroy they used like the soccer ball of death or the football of death, which they would kick around. They would just like kick around a little bit, like the soccer ball one. They would do like the like soccer kicks. They like here to each other, and they're like here, go back and forth.
Mhm.
Headbutt on the soccer. And then finally, the guy gives a back kick into the monster, and the monster goes like, "Oh no!" Boom.
Like Zordon was like a wizard looking guy in the
Mhm.
original one. The Rita was named Bandora and would sing,
Mhm.
and that's why if you like during Mighty Morphin when it shows the uh, the Moon Palace, it says Bandora because it's Bandora's palace in the Super
Right.
Sentai footage. I remember I remember watching In Space. I loved Power Rangers in Space. That was my favorite one as a kid. They were basically the Super Sentai counterparts were like like uh, tech virtual reality like Power
Mhm.
Rangers.
Yeah.
And then you had the VR Troopers, Mask Rider. They tried to get Kamen Rider into America, which
Yeah.
lasted like
But
half
see,
a season.
you got to watch it. Saban. Okay, Saban did a good job on the American version on there, but I have always preferred the Japanese version. Always,
Of course,
because number one, they were uncut. Number two, because what was it? Snob was talking last night. We were talking about Gotcha Man. That
Mhm.
between what the difference between Battle of the Planets and Gotcha Man, because they edited it down. Sandy Frank Productions edited it down, took out all the blood, the gore, the deaths, and all that. Made it more family friendly. But the original Gotcha Man was really excellent. I just got the box set, and it's great to watch the original stuff on there because that's
I've
how it
been
was made.
I've been reading the Boom Comics Power Rangers whenever I find a new one comes out. They're actually very dark. People die. Like
Yeah,
Rangers die. Like they're
yeah,
like the Mighty Morphin from the '90s were not Zordon's original Power Ranger teams. There was like a '70s team, and all of them died but one Ranger.
yeah, yeah.
And
This is the way that it had it.
like there's a storyline that is amazing. It's called Shattered Grid. Have you heard of it?
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
It's basically an evil alternate, like all the power, and they actually added this to a later Power Rangers series that each power, like a lot of the teams are in different dimensions, and
Mm,
they can communicate through the grid. And there's one where Tommy um, never became good again, and goes and like betrays Rita and kills her.
oh yes, yes. Now I remember that. Yeah,
And he becomes a
yeah,
character named Lord Draken. And what he
yeah.
does, he's going through each dimension, stealing power coins to become more powerful and empower like his army of Ranger troopers.
Mm,
Kimberly's like an evil. She looks like Psycho Pink, but she's called the Ranger Killer.
mm.
She's like Draken's assassin. Um, he he um, he took over Finster by like putting like parts of Alpha 5 to control him. So it was a really good storyline.
Mm.
And there's one where you find out Lord Zed's origins.
Yes, that yeah, I
I,
remember that.
it was so good. I wish they would have taken that story into the TV shows.
You
And you
never
found
know.
out
They may.
how close he was to Zordon.
Hmm.
And there's one scene in the comics I absolutely loved. Zordon is able to leave his tube, and they give him this like really badass fighting robot body. It's so cool.
Cool.
It's so, but
Yeah. But
there's
moving on a little
yeah.
bit because we got a lot to get through today. We just passed basically everything that's on in public domain for this year, and
Mhm.
yeah, and there was a lot of stuff put in there. Pluto was put into the public domain and all that. But in the last couple of years, you've had some of the other Disney stuff come into public domain. Peter Pan and Winnie the Pooh, and they made movies from them, horror movies.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of them.
Yeah, well, no, they're not a fan of them. But see, the guys who are doing this, they're smart. They're making their money to the point because what's coming soon is basically we're going to get a Pooh universe similar to the Avengers.
Oh, good
In
God.
other words, they're going to combine the Bambi horror, the Peter Pan, Winnie the Pooh, everything all together in one. Because it's going to be the same universe. So it's going to be a horror film with all this involved in there. It's called the Twisted Childhood Universe, and it begins filming this summer. So it's like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Bambi the Reckoning, Peter Pan's Nightmare. Peter Pan's Nightmare is supposed to be good from that version, and Pinocchio is supposed to be pretty good also too. Pinocchio Unstrung.
Isn't the story of like original story of Peter Pan kind of dark?
They're all dark.
No, I'm
If you
talking
look,
about the original. Like
yeah, that's what I
he
mean.
steals children's.
Yeah,
He like
exactly.
kidnaps the children.
Yeah, was it Cinderella's Dark or Little Red Riding Hood? All those stories that you've seen in the past,
Yeah, a
they've
lot
all
of they were Disneyfied.
yeah, they basically just they were Disney-fied. But you go back and read them, they were super super dark.
Like they don't the evil queen in Snow White doesn't die in the story. She's made the dwarves capture her and put her in red hot like iron shoes and
Iron
force
Shoes,
her
yeah.
to dance at Snow
Oh
White
wait,
and the
no,
prince's
that's not. It's
wedding.
not. No, it's not the Evil Queen. It's the
The
Cinderella's
wit
sisters. The sisters.
No, it's Snow White.
Is Snow White? I have
It
to
was
look it
Snow
up again
White.
because I swear I thought it was the stepmother and the sisters.
No, no, this was the evil queen was forced by the dwarves into red hot like cast
You might you
iron
might be right.
shoes, and she was forced to dance at their wedding. Did you ever see that mini series? It was John Larroquette and Brad Paisley's wife called the 13th or the 10th Kingdom.
No, I didn't get it. I heard of it. I didn't get to see it.
She this New York guy and his daughter find their way to fairy tale land, and it's the dark versions of these characters of these stories. It's not the uh, Brothers Grimm versions.
Mm,
And they talk about how the queen was forced, like she crawled into the swamp to die because her feet were burned basically at their wedding.
mm.
So yeah,
I
it's
saw
like
I saw one. I forgot the name of it, but it was from Japan. It was a Japanese anime, and it was basically they twisted the tales of like the Hansel and Gretel and all that, and it was really good. One of them had a sci-fi theme to it,
mm,
and it was
like
and it was
Pinocchio, if I remember right, he kills Jiminy Cricket. Because Jiminy
yes.
is his
Oh, they hang
conscious.
Pinocchio. They hang Pinocchio off a tree at the end of the book.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they hang him off a tree. They hang him off a tree at the end of the book.
That's crazy, man.
Yeah. But here's some other news that's coming across the wire. One Piece is coming out, the live action.
Yes, I enjoyed the first season.
You enjoyed the first season. Well, they just dropped the second trailer, and guess what?
Hmm.
Nico Robin is going to be in this new one. She
Who is
looks
she?
great.
I don't
She's
recognize her.
played. Her name is Lyra Abova. She's a model. She's a Russian model.
Has she ever acted before?
I don't know. I've been trying to look up on here, but mostly she is like her modeling on there. Uh, I still got to go into a deep dive into her career, but she
Okay,
looks great. The special effects work on.
yeah, that's the CB9 version. That's the first version we get of Robin. That costume is amazing. Looks exactly like the anime.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm at the Vegapunk arc of it. So I still got a few more episodes to go till I'm caught up.
Yeah. They're doing the assassins ones with Miss Monday. That she's Miss Monday
Yeah.
on this, so that they're starting out with that. The group of assassins.
Did Jamie Lee Curtis was it ever revealed if Jamie Lee Curtis ever got a part?
So far, I haven't seen anything of it. I know they're supposed to introduce Chopper this
They
season, but it's been left out. It's been left out of this current trailer.
okay, because Jamie Lee Curtis loves One Piece, and she said she wanted to play the doctor that trains Chopper. I can't
Hmm.
remember the name of the character, but like the look I've seen someone like make up Jamie Lee Curtis like the character. The look would be amazing, perfect for the character.
Yeah, no, I mean she looks good. They even the effect. I mean, there's one part where they show her powers, where
Hmm.
she's like taking on four guys, and arms are sticking out of the guys' bodies and killing them.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it. There's one part in the anime she's doing that, and you just hear that you hear bones, their back snap because she's just breaking, she's tearing them apart.
Hmm.
The thing I like about One Piece and My Hero is they have been able to take goofy superpowers and make them really good.
Yeah,
Like in My Hero, the kid with the tape out of his elbows. I can't remember that character's name.
I'm trying to remember. I'm way behind on a lot of these. I'm
This was
on episode 500. I think I'm at 500, 600, somewhere around there.
Yeah, you got about 1,000 or a thousand
About another
seven.
500 to go.
No,
I
seven,
know.
800 to go. I think.
Yeah, I'm
I
just
think
about
I'm at
500.
like one. I think I'm at 1,100. I
But
think
it's
I'm
been
around.
good. I mean, you got to remember this series has been around since the 90s.
It's 99.
90, yeah, 90 late 90s, 99. This was on Kids,
Oh God, that
cut up the
pirate rap.
hell, but yeah, cut
That
up the hell.
like Sanji didn't smoke. He sucked on suckers.
Yeah, exactly.
Smoker they literally just deleted Smoker's cigars and just had them like ice, like an icy breath coming out. It was so stupid.
Yeah, that's Kids for you. I mean, they kind of ruined a couple of things on there, but seeing that they've restored a lot of this stuff back, and what is it?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, that's right. I even forgot about this. It's supposed to be Joe Manganiello is supposed to be in this too, this season.
I wonder who he's gonna play.
Mr. O.
Oh, interesting.
He's supposed to be playing Mr. O. So
A short came across my Facebook, YouTube a few hours ago. Him as Flash Thompson in the first Spider-Man movie.
right.
When him and Peter, when he tries to beat up Peter and Peter's just dodging him, and them going through it, and how they had just the choreography just for that 5 second scene that they had to do was just amazing. A lot of
Yeah.
people forget he was in the first Spider-Man movie.
Oh yeah.
He should have played Deadshot. Not Deadshot, Slade. What's that
Yeah.
character's name? Deathstroke. Because he did it like a post credit scene after the end of Justice League as Deadshot. a Deathstroke. Why do I keep saying Deathstroke? And
Mhm.
nothing ever came of it.
Mm.
That's the thing that pisses me off more about those DC movies. They set everything up so dramatically, and then nothing ever came from them.
Well, something else is coming from DC, which has been greenlit for season two. Did I got this right? Yes. Creature Commandos will be back for another season.
I'm
James
not
Gunn has
sure.
already James Gunn has already confirmed it. Have you seen this yet?
I saw the first season. Wasn't too thrilled about it.
Yeah, it wasn't that great. I mean, I like it was a little bloody, bloody as hell, to the point. And of course, they did leave off the ending on that, basically.
Well, I liked Rick Flag Jr. and then they killed him off
Yeah, that was a big mistake.
because they you can't have any strong male characters anymore. I love Economos. He's one of my favorite characters in these movies. The guy with the beard,
I do like the bride in Creature Commandos.
the guy who plays Frankenstein. That's David Harbour from
Yeah, I know
Stranger Things and
David Harbour
Hellboy.
was hysterical on the, he's
And Doctor Phosphorus is Alan Tudyk.
yeah, Tunic also, especially that scene where they're all dancing around,
And I
and
don't know.
Batman shows up.
Yeah, I don't know in Creature Commando, but I know in the Suicide Squad movies, Sylvester Stallone played Killer Shark.
I mean, King Shark.
King,
Yeah, it's King Shark. I
King
think.
Shark.
Yeah, I think it's King Shark. Is it? Anyway,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, it is.
yeah, yeah. But
Killer Shark.
supposedly the Creature Commando season two is going to take place after Peacemaker season two.
I was not.
I
I
know.
wasn't
I didn't watch.
thrilled.
I refused when I saw some of the clips and I said, oh shit, they're going to Universe X, aren't
Yeah,
they? Immediately, I knew they're going to the X universe. We don't need to go back there again. CW already did that universe. We don't need to go back to there again.
and the way they y- the twist with Blue Dragon, Peacemaker's dad in that universe. He was a hero. He was
Mhm.
a real superhero. And like there's a scene where what's her name? The blonde secret agent. I can't remember her name.
Yeah,
She's like, "Well, you're a I'm not a
you're a
German guy."
Nazi.
Well, I didn't want to say it because I didn't know how you felt about saying it because
No,
I know
no, no. Go ahead.
YouTube
Say
may
Nazi.
ask me.
I don't give a
She's like,
shit.
"You're a Nazi." He's like, "Excuse me, I'm not. You cannot label me something I'm not." And he's something like that. He's like, live in a system not of my own making, and I'm trying to make it better. If I could change it, I would. And the very next scene, like he's giving this rousing speech of how he's anti-Nazi, and you see Vigilante out the back window over his shoulder, running up through the window, crashes through the window with like a knife in his hand and starts stabbing him in the throat. It's like you just took a character that people have like all of a sudden we like him and like fuck you, James Gunn.
I know. It's just uh, it's the way sometimes you promote these things, but it's this could be Creature Commandos could be so much better,
Mhm.
to the point, and I think they should drop James Gunn out of this.
I think they're falling into the trap of the when you have it's a difficult thing because we saw how bad it could be when you have different directors with different visions with Star Wars,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're seeing it. I think we're getting to the point where James Gunn is doing too much for the DC for
You're right.
DC, but but you need someone over it with directors with no egos that'll just say, have a creative director say, "Hey, you do this," and the director's like, "All right, sure." Because I think that's the problem we had with Star Wars. We had so many people wanting to come in and make their own version. You don't go into a IP as big as Star Wars or Star Trek and try to make it your own. You're there to continue the story. You're
Mm-hmm.
basically you're the bitch boy to what the people, the higher ups want.
Mm.
And we've seen the both the good and bad in this kind of situation. They need to find a good balance.
Yeah, I know. It's hard now with all these situations on there, and now with everything with Warner, anything with DC, part of the Warner thing, everything is going to be upside down for the next year or so. I mean,
Yeah.
right now you got Paramount throwing a lawsuit now into this whole, and we expected it to happen. That a lawsuit was coming down the line over the Warner Brother Netflix sale, and freaking Netflix and Warner have already came back with a response that says that the lawsuit's it's meritless to the situation. That everything's within the legitimate. Put it this way, Warner has the choice of whatever deal that they want, no
Yeah.
matter what price point it is. If they're going for the lower price point, yeah, go right ahead. If it's a better deal
Mhm.
to that situation, which I believe, and a lot of people criticize it. I mean, honestly, straight out of the bat, nobody should get Warner, but that's not good. The reality is Warner's going to be in somebody's pocket soon. And the thing
Mhm.
is that myself, I prefer Netflix to have it over Paramount, because Paramount will be a much bigger monopoly to the point. They
Yeah.
want the networks. CNN is worthless, according to them. So basically, they could
Mhm.
drop CNN anywhere where they want to the situation. Netflix only wants the studios, they only want the productions, and they only want the library. And then what it
Mhm.
is, the broadcast end of it will be spun off before the end of the deal. So so still Warner will be making some sort of money down the line.
Yeah. But I was thinking recently, I saw a video talking about like kind of the failures of the DC um, stuff. They talked about Titans, Doom Patrol, and uh, what
Time,
they.
even
I
the
hated.
animated, some of the
No,
animated,
the live action one.
yeah.
I hated it. I hated it. Um, it got too out there. Like when you started getting into Doom Patrol, it was
Right.
like when you have like unstoppable horde of zombie asses. It's like,
I can't believe they did that. I'm sitting here like, oh Jesus Christ,
and the
what the
bad guy sends
fuck?
everyone into the asshole of a donkey from
It's
at
like
the end of season one.
what the fuck?
Yeah,
I stopped watching after season one.
yeah. Ugh. It was just so stupid.
You
And
know,
there's one like you with Hawk and Dove. The thing with Hawk and Dove, they took the morality debate out of them. They made
hmm
them a bitter um, married couple on the brink of like separating.
they were
Hawk,
better in Justice League Unlimited.
Unlimited, yeah, because they had the morality aspect. The Hawk is an avatar of chaos, of the gods of chaos.
hmm
Dove is an avatar of the gods of order. The bet is, can these two opposite style superheroes work together? And it's a bet between the gods of order and chaos. And there's none of that. They Titan, the live action Titans is if you took all the mysticism and kind of magic out of DC
hmm
and gave it to like the most like gore. The only good part of Titans was when Dick goes to get his new costume and you see how like what they go through to get their costumes made.
hmm
I loved that part where there's actually a guy who has a secret like underground tailor shop that caters directly to superheroes. And
Yeah.
it was ridiculous. That
Well,
whole.
we'll see what happens. See what happens on there as we go along this year.
I
So
mean, I like the Doom Patrol. I remember them in Titans,
right.
Teen Titans, but that whole show was ugh.
I know.
Oh,
Trust
I
me on
will be
that.
back in a few minutes. I have to run and do something real quick.
Okay, no problem.
Sorry.
I can hang it in there for on there. All right. Well, he's gone off for a bit. Do want to bring up a little bit of the awards over the weekend. We're not going to go down on everything to that. I think everybody else has done a good job on that, but I just want to touch base on a couple of things. Well, first of all, Golden Globes, Astrid Awards was out there. It's to the point that a lot of these movies, to that situation. I do have to say, from the Astrid Awards, K-pop Demon Hunters and Demon Slayer, congratulations on your awards on there. Congratulations to K-pop at the Golden Globe. I preferred Demon Hunters to win at the Golden Globe, but that's going to be a tighter race at the Oscars. Expect both of those at the Oscars down the line to that point. Now, here's the thing that's got me pissed off. Okay. Bring it up. This little badge was running around the Golden Globes. Be good. Now, if you don't understand what that is, and if you've been under a rock, you know about the situation in Minnesota and on the ice shooting to the situation. Now, understand. See, this is where Hollywood gets lost. First of all, top off the bat, nobody most people didn't wait until all the evidence was in. I stood back quietly and just, I gave my 2 cents a little bit, but I knew there was going to be a lot more information given out and we would find out the truth. Now, understand is that this woman shouldn't have died, understandably. I'm sorry for her family and all that. But like someone said here in Staten Island, activists is like, number one, shouldn't have been here. Number two, she should have surrendered herself to ICE. Because that's one thing, and that's to every protester. There's a guy named Scott Labeo over here on Staten Island who is a major protester. He protests and stuff like that, but he will tell you straight out. If the cops come up to you, say, put your hands behind your back. Put your hands behind your back. Things can be resolved in a courtroom. There is no reason to fight, to punch, to kick, to resist, to use your car as a weapon. There is no thing about it. And for Hollywood elites to use this as a weapon to this point, and I'm going to be a little angry to the is the most stupid continuation of what the left continues to do as they continue to fall. I want a Democratic and Republican Party in this country, but these radicals on the far left or the far right, it don't matter, they need to go. Hollywood needs to be cleaned up, plain and simple. All this junk at these award ceremonies and stuff like that. I mean, it goes back, you could say, yeah, it goes back years ago, Marlon Brando, having what's her name, the Indian come in, and then you find out years later she wasn't even Indian at all. And the many years after that, where people says, well, save the tiger, save this and the real issues of the day are never brought up. I remember one year, and I'm trying to remember the name of the movie, but it was about the midnight basketball leagues in the urban schools. And it was a whole documentary on it, and they expected to get an Oscar nom. No, they were snubbed. This was a story about, underprivileged kids playing basketball. Plain simple, is great, it's great PR for that. Bring money to them, bring more money to those groups and stuff like that. But yet, hey, listen, this is the way it is. They don't certain things, they're going to be politically driven. Kids playing basketball, not important in their list. Going against Trump, top of the list. That's the way they think about it. And the thing was, this is why we don't have good TV shows anymore, you know, good movies anymore. This is the reason why. Look at the list of movies that were there. It's most of the good movies that were out last year were horror. The horror business was doing very well last year. I said in a chat, what was it, about 2 weeks ago, on Top Lofty Lounge, 2025, there were over 500 science fiction movies that were produced in that period. Of that 500, only less than 200 really made it into the spotlight. That really got a major release or some sort of release or went to streaming. To all the rest are either buried in the paperwork, lost on streaming because no advertisement for it, or just basically shelved for now. Hang on 1 second here as I adjust myself and adjust my equipment here. Let me just check over here. I also want to thank those of you who are watching on Rumble and on X. We really thank you. Appreciate it. Also, do subscribe there. We do appreciate on that. I'll post that back yet. But yeah, this is the silly things that have been going on for quite some time. Let me see what we have here. Just want to see what we have left before we really get into it. Okay. Let me just check my notes here. I always have my notes. Get into the notes on here. As I said before, the Warner Brothers Discovery, they're basically they're being sued by Paramount Skydance to that situation. We know that's going on right now. Oh, here's something interesting. Originally from DreamWorks, the writers from K-pop Demon Hunters was supposed to have been working on a Lord Farquaad, from the Shrek movies, a movie with that character in, but it looks like it just been shelved to that point. Let's see, just going through everything that's coming out now because there's so much on here. Let's see. Oh yeah, the Freddy's Dead, the Final Nightmare director, has confirmed a lost alternative cut where the Dream Demons find a new host. That's the Hey PB, how you doing? Uh yeah, that they find a new host. So there's a new thing coming on there. Also, there was a release of the Lee Cronin the Mummy movie, which supposedly has an authentic Egyptian cast and a lot in the Arabic language. So it's more closer to an Egyptian movie than something like a Hammer film or an American film on there. I love the Hammer mummy films. Those are great. I mean, you want to see some good mummy films? The Hammer ones are really good. Christopher Lee and all that. To that point. Let's see. Just going through my lists. Everything else I've done on. Because I know there was a couple other things. Oh yeah, the looks like you know the situation with Timothy Busfield. They're looking for him on there. It seems like NBC will not be airing the Law and Order SVU, which he's appearing in a guest star role. So to the situation, so he's in deep water to that point. Give me a second here. Oh yeah, there is also if people it has an article out with trying to remember her name, but it is this young woman that basically she played the evil queen in Disneyland as one of the characters on in the amusement park. She left after 8 years, and oh no, actually, she was let go after 8 years of being the queen. One thing she was happy about, if you've seen her Instagram, that she was able to paint her nails properly now, because basically she had to uh, wear a certain color. Are you back, Outpost? No, not yet. Okay, we talked about the Pooniverse, One Piece. We got that. Oh yeah, here's another thing. Here's the franchise that are coming out this year. These are all some of the top horrors this year. Of course, we've already seen Bone Temple, Evil Dead Burn, the sequel to Ready or Not, or Ready or Not Here I Come. The Strangers are getting a chapter 3. This one I'm waiting for. They Follow. They Follow the original one, that came out. That was a really good horror film. There's another Resident Evil. I'm not sure if that's an animated on there. Of course, we're getting a Scary Movie 6, which that'll be sometime, I think, June on that. Of course, we've been waiting for Terrifier Part 4. Insidious is getting another movie, The Bleeding World. Amazon is doing a version of Carrie. Of course, the Peacock is doing Crystal Lake, which I think that's from the point of view from Jason's mother. I think that's what they're doing it on there. And then, of course, the return to Silent Hill, to that situation there. But yeah, this is the things that are coming. I mean, there's a lot more movies and things that are just coming along, to the point. Meanwhile, we have a video. When is it? Wednesday. We're talking about PVS on there. Here's a little bit of a pre-update before that video hits, because we discussed the end of the children's television. The was the Corporation of Public Broadcasting. Excuse me, and the public broadcasting, since they're going to be shutting down. You figure a lot of the PBS and NPR stations are shutting down. One thing that I got recently, which I'm updating on here before the video hits, is that PBS Kids won't be shutting down. And I would assume, because I guess they have advertisement dollars behind it to that point. And I guess they're still going to be going on. And I said this in the video coming up this week, that expect to be certain stations are going to survive the situation. That they're going to end up, that stuff like, for example, New York City, and PB will back me on this. That we got WNET on there, and it's a good, strong station, PBS station. They're going to end up, being clean on this. They're going to end up surviving. Because they do get a lot of private dollars to keep that station running. It happens to be still very, very popular, even though a lot of this stuff, like the operas and all this stuff, you could watch on other streaming services. I mean, the Metropolitan Opera has their own, their own website, and they have they should still have a streaming app, because I think I saw it on my cable system that they do have a streaming app, to the point. I think that it's a paid one, even though there's some of it's free to that point. The other thing is that, let's see what's going on here. -0, where was that? We lost it. Oh yes, the live action Solo Leveling will begin filming in 2026. That's going to be interesting. If you haven't seen this is going to be done on Netflix. It will have 7 episodes. Basically, if you haven't seen this, Jin Woo, and to the point, this is a really good. It's a really good action. It's a really if you haven't seen it online yet, do catch it, and it is great. Season 2 is off the hook. Is way off the hook. And, to that point, the music, the soundtrack alone kicks it in real good. If you haven't sat down and watched this yet, and it is a great thing to watch. This is one of the things on there. The other thing is, if and we discussed this lightly to the other thing because it is kind of sensitive to this kind of content. Nutashi, if you, I think if I'm pronouncing it as Nutashi, it is a sort of a fan. How can I say it's border hentai. It's almost border hentai, but it's not full hentai. It is an anime. And it's a comedy, really. And I mean, I haven't finished it yet. But then here's the thing. Here's the shocker. You ready for this? Now, for the last several years, we've had stuff like Redo the Healer. What was it? The Interspecies Reviewers. The Gushing Magical Girls. All of this is still in Japanese. No sign that they're going to English dub these. Nutashi, however you pronounce it, has gotten an English dub. It's available. It's already, I forgot, I think it's Ocean Vale is the website that you can watch this on, or if you can go by the high seas. Now, Nutashi is basically an anime where it's these brother and sister come back to their old village, town, whatever it is, city, on an island. Now, supposedly, let me just put this up before on there. PB, yes, let me put you up there. I think the cost will be fine. The rest of the PBS stations in the country will merge, sell, or shut down permanently, and I do agree with you on that. I do agree with you on that very much. Now, getting back to Nutashi. Nutashi is basically like I said, the brother and sister that they come back to where they used to live. Now there's a law done by the government of the island that everybody above the legal age must have sex on a constant basis. Yes, I said it. You must have sex on a constant basis, and that includes high schoolers of age, college. Everybody is having sex on this island on a constant basis, and it is the law. Failure to do this will cause a sort of special forces to come after you. All female. And the whole gimmick is that the main character, he goes around with these special weapons made from sexual toys and stuff like that, and uses it against them. And let me tell you something. It is a really funny comedy to that point. It's worth the watch. I mean, but like I said, there is sex. It's not full like what you see in the hentai. This is that close, something like Redo the Healer type. And yeah, it's just batshit insane. But for it to get an English dub, and I've seen a couple of clips of it, it's decent on there. Surprisingly, that somebody was able to get English, and this is where the turnaround is when it comes to this. Because before Crunchyroll wouldn't touch these things with a 10-foot pole. This. I know Redo the Healer was over on High Dive, Gushing Magical Girls as well. Interspecies Reviewers was on Crunchyroll and it was removed. Now I have all of them on Blu-ray. I bought them because basically it most likely will be harder to find, which it's starting to become that way. Interspecies was the hardest one to find. Right now, I think you can find it for like $80, $90 right now. On there. I ended up, believe it or not, I ended up getting it out of one company that you wouldn't believe in there. I think was that out of Barnes and Noble? I believe there was Barnes and Noble, if I'm not mistaken on that. Shocking, isn't it? But we're seeing a change in anime to that point. You're seeing more companies fighting for their product, to keep their product, safe to the point. Okay, hang in there, folks, a moment on there. I'll be right back. Just going to take a sip of water. Oh, good water. Now, in other anime news, if you're familiar with Black Lagoon, supposedly the author says the anime may be coming back. We may be getting another season. This was a great anime. You know, there's sort of like pirates and hired hands, assassins from all over in Asia to the point, and there's some great stories in there. Some of them are a little controversial, like the two child assassins that basically that they sort of like change each other's clothes, sort of like to disguise themselves as each other, which you know if you're familiar with the series, the type of ending that these kids ended up in, and these were young kids. These were young kids tortured in life and turned into assassins. But it was a very good story to that point. And then the maid who was protecting the child that basically she was in charge of, and is it Ramona? Yeah, I think it's Ramona. And basically, she goes he's kidnapped and she goes ape berserk because she used to be a major assassin back in the day, and she gave it all up. And basically, she's in a maid's uniform and she's just dropping weapons left and right to that point. But let's move on. Let's move on a little bit more. Okay. Now, you saw in the beginning of the video of this live feed the basically the acceptance speech of Indy the dog, which of course he didn't talk. It was his owners talking. But this was the crazy thing. Indy the dog from Good Boy just won Best Horror Movie Performance at the Astra Film Awards. That is insane. That's totally insane to the point. And considering who Indy was up against, it was Allison Brie from Together as on there, Ethan Hawke, Black Phone 2, Sally Hawkins in Bring Her Back, Sophie Thatcher, Companion, and Alfie Williams, 28 years later. And I'm just going to read a little bit from Bloody Disgusting. Indy, the real life dog of director Ben Leonberg, plays the canine protagonist in last year's Good Boy, a horror movie that uniquely told from the perspective of the pooch. Can the dog give one of the best performances of the year? According to the Astra Films, Indy just did that. The 9th annual Astra Film Awards that took place in Los Angeles this past Friday night, and Good Boy Indy took home the award for best performance in a horror thriller. Who did and basically, let me see. This is Ben Leonberg admits in the video, which we showed, that he's been recognized for his work in the movie. That the dog doesn't understand about it, as Leon explained to Bloody Disgusting last year. It surprised me that a lot of people learned that Indy only knows a handful of tricks and commands. His performance isn't created through the conventional training. Instead, it was about being ready with the camera in the right place at the right time and coaxing him using a combination of everyday commands, weird sounds, physical gestures, and food. Once those moments were edited together, they created the illusion of a performance. The scary scenes were always the most fun for Indy and the most creative, fulfilling for me. Leon Berg continued. What looks frightening, barking, or paralyzing fear on screen is reality. Indy staring down a treat or a tennis ball just off camera that really he wants, and which he got as soon as we hit cut. Thanks to the magic of film making and the juxtapositioning of disparate shots, the audience projects their own emotions onto those puppy dog eyes. Good Boys now available on VOD outlets and streaming on Shutter. My wife has seen this movie; she enjoyed it. She said it was a really, really good movie. Little dark. It was filmed very dark, but the dog did his best to the point. You kind of expected this situation. I mean, this is not the only. There was what was it? VHS. I think it was the second VHS movie, which we took a perspective that there was a camera hooked up to a dog, and there was a bunch of kids that were in Home Alone together, and an aliens showed up to that point, and you saw all that whole situation. But the ending on that one didn't fare out too well for the dog and also the kids. So then, if you ever watch a VHS movie, actually those are good horror films. I haven't watched the last one yet. There is a new one. My wife watched it. Said it was okay. The older ones are better. I think there was one where basically everyone got dragged into, there was it was a Halloween one where they were taking more candy than they should have. They got dragged into the bowl of candy onto there to somewhere else, and they were tortured by some creature or something like that. To that point, someone got a bunch of Skittles shoved up the other end, if you know what I mean by that. To that point, but if you want to see this, is there going to be a sequel? I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a sequel to this movie, but yeah, it was a good movie, from my wife's point of view. All right, what else is going on? Let's see. Oops, wrong place, wrong time. Hang on one moment, because I got two more. I got two more main stories on there. I'm just waiting for Outpost to get back before we start that. If you give me a moment, or if someone else shows up, we'll start it then. Well, let's talk about this for now. Till my partner in crime shows back up again. Right now, like I said, we got Peter Jurasik coming to visit with us on the 28th, and we're also working on some other guests down the line to that point. Otaco Thursday will probably most likely be back in the lineup as soon as February. So as soon as this is, all this that we've been working with Peter Jurasik, we finish up with that. It's been taking up some time for us. And then also we've been making some changes to this channel, making some improvements, some tweaks here and there, finding out any of the problems that we're going through. And then, of course, YouTube is playing their games on there. And, this is the things that, you go through. But, yeah, I'm not going to go through all that. I'll push you back.
I'm back. I'm back.
Ah, there he goes. We missed you.
I'm back.
Because we're about to get into this. Okay. Here's the major thing. We'll start off with these are the two big stories we're going to be discussing today. Okay, Batman 2. We got Batman 2 coming. It's going to go into production on that. We had what is it? Sebastian Stan is joining the cast. Basically, suppose he's playing Two Face, and
Now
there was a couple.
we don't know if he's going to be just be if he, is he he's Harvey Dent, but is this
Okay,
version going
this
to
is where we're
have
gonna
Two
get. Yeah,
Face?
yeah. This is where we're gonna get
That's what I'm
into this.
wondering.
Yeah, here's where we're gonna get into this, which I think this is the direction they're gonna go in. We have four choices, all in the same universe storyline onto there. One is each individual story, or a combination of all three, and this is three stories into one. Now we know the Long Halloween. You're familiar with that, correct?
Hmm.
Okay. Now you understand that the Long Halloween is technically three separate. There are three separate stories from this storyline.
Hmm.
Okay. You have Haunted Night, The Long Halloween, and Dark Victory.
Hmm.
Now, if you're not familiar with these stories, these are all done by these are graphic novels done by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale. The Haunted Night is three Halloween themed stories that serve to a prequel to the Long Halloween, featuring Batman facing villains like the Scarecrow, the Mad Hatter, and the Penguin, exploring his early years and connection to Gotham's darkness. The way it is, it's a let me see. The stories are Fear, which is Batman's first Halloween, where he confronts Scarecrow and learns about his instilling fear. Madness, which is the Mad Hatter, introduces Barbara Gordon as Jim Gordon's daughter, and Ghost, a story involving Penguin and Poison Ivy. Possibility. We could have a possibility here. Second story, we know of the Long Halloween. Basically someone's going around killing the gangsters. Basically, you have the Rogues Gallery of Villains, you have Calendar Man, and all that situation. We all know that. The last one, which could be the more possibility, which would be kind of stupid to go onto this direction without going into the Long Halloween, is Batman Dark Victory, which is also done by Joe Loeb and Tim Sale, and this was published in '99 to 2000. And it serves as a sequel to the Long Halloween, focusing on the transition of Dick Grayson into Robin and the mystery of the new holiday killer, while exploring the early days of Batman and the rise of Two-Face. It's known for its noir style character development and its role establishing a modern origin of Robin. Because there is word that they're looking for a Robin also.
Hmm.
Now, originally we had Mask of the Phantasm up there, but now Harvey Dent is not in Mask of the Phantasm, obviously. So this is I've gone through pretty much every Two-Face story. These are the three most likely stories that they could go with. Everything else wouldn't connect well as far as the characters that they're going to use. Would have to introduce, Mask of the Phantasm. You have to introduce a Joker or replace the Joker with the Penguin. At that point, which you can do that, but at this point, I think we can fairly say it's not going to be Mask of the Phantasm.
That sucks.
Well, if they do Long Halloween properly, it is a good story. The series, the comic book series itself, is excellent. I mean, have you ever read The Long Halloween?
No, I need to. I think I'll do that tonight before going to bed.
Yeah, it's either that, or you can watch the animated movie.
Yeah, watch the animated movie. I really enjoyed the animated movie.
Yeah, I mean, well, the book is much better. It basically, because they cut a lot out in the animated movie and they changed some things around. But from the perspective of the Harvey Dent character, because you got to remember, in the Long Halloween, Harvey Dent doesn't become Two-Face until way later on.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry to spoil it for those out there that haven't seen it yet. you haven't seen it till much later. And you know, ooh, excuse me. To get there, you're going to have to get Penguin involved in this. You're going to have to get some of the Rogues Gallery in there. My question is, who would play Calendar Man? We know who's going to play Penguin. You'll need a Mad Hatter and Scarecrow, and
Hmm.
uh, and Poison Ivy. So these are doable if done right. If I'm wrong, okay, I'm wrong. But like I said, I've gone through the Rogues Gallery of stories that had to deal with Harvey Dent. These would be the most feasible to that point.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And it's Batman's a good these are good tales on there. I mean, I would have preferred other stories. I would have preferred Mask of the Phantasm. I would have preferred Wraith. Have you ever heard of Wraith?
No.
Oh, Wraith is a great comic. It's an old one. It's an old one. It goes back, I think, was it late 80s? I think it is. Okay, think of this story. You have Bruce Wayne as a young child, seen his parents murder, turns into Batman.
Hmm.
Meanwhile, simultaneously, across Gotham, a criminal is just arriving home after being chased down by the cops.
Okay.
Okay.
Can-
Gets into his home, and the police chase into his home, break into his home to arrest him. He resists, and he's shot in front of his son.
I-
Okay.
This sounding familiar.
Well, this goes back. What you have here is two sides of a coin, in a way. Batman, one called Batman, the other one called the Wraith. Batman for crime, the Wraith is revenge. The cop that shot his father was a young Gordon
Mm.
in his uniform days. The whole premise is him trying to get Wraith trying to get revenge on Commissioner Gordon.
Hmm.
It's an old story. It's not told too often. The cover is fantastic. It's because they both wear cowls, but his cowl is like more like a brown, sort of like more brownish type cowl. So it's like if you ever see the cover front of it, it's like Batman on one side and the Wraith on the other, and the Wraith is holding up, and the Wraith uses guns, whereas Batman does not use guns. So it's a good story. It's a good story. It's not told that often. It is. They did a rehash of it. Oh God, was it early 2000? But it just didn't do well. I think it was. I'm trying to remember the name of the comic on that one. But it was like they rehashed the character back in again.
Oh, I know exactly. I know exactly who you're talking about. The TV series The Batman did this character.
Yeah,
That's exact. Yeah, it's like a perverted version of Batman and Robin, and it was like a childhood friend in the episode. It was a childhood friend of Bruce Wayne's. Okay, I see it now. Yeah.
yeah, they changed it around. Yeah, on the TV series, they changed it around a bit. But in the original series, it was just basically a guy who's donned the costume to get revenge on the police. I don't think it would do good today, the way things have been going lately. But yeah, still, to that point.
You know what I would like? I would like to see more. And there's so many continuities outside of like Batman, the Justice League that DC owns. Doesn't
Hmm.
DC own the Wildstorm? Is it called Wildstorm? Gen 13? That
Yeah,
those kind. Do they own it?
yeah, I think so.
I want to see more of Gen 13. I read the comics, saw the animated movie, and I loved Gen 13.
Oh yeah, no, Gen 13 was good. They needed more Gen 13.
Or I would love to see like modern Wildcats. We saw
Well,
Grifter
we
in
got a
the
little close.
Flashpoint.
We got a little close to it in Thor.
Not the Wildcats I'm talking about are DC.
Oh no, I'm sorry, not Wildcats. That wasn't Wildcats. That was what was that other one? The map from Malibu. I can't remember the name of that.
I'd love to see Savage Dragon. That'd be
Savage.
so bad.
Oh my God,
That'd
I
be.
would love to. So many times I've heard them try to do a Savage Dragon movie.
I watched the Teak cartoon back in the day. I saw I read some of the comics, and it's such a great story. We
Oh
need
yeah,
more of it. We need more of these independent ones. It'd be so good.
yeah.
See,
I'm
I
trying
have
to remember
ideas for like my own. If I
Malibu.
could draw, I'd be making comic books. I can write. I can't draw. I have a character for idea for a character that would fight alongside Batman. It'd be so cool if I could like
I think
get
was it
something to draw.
Ultra Force?
Ultra Force, I remember
Ultra
that.
Force. Ultra Force. There was one character in the one of the Thor movies. The Queen of
I'm
Gwendolyn.
Ultra Force is DC.
No, it's not DC. It was Marvel.
I don't. I'm looking
Yeah,
it
it's
up.
on. I'm looking at it right now on Wikipedia. It's Malibu is owned by Marvel Entertainment because they have Men in Black, Ultra Force, Nightman.
What was what, uh, what was he in? What were they in? Thor.
Thor was it was that the one that was that heavy, almost heavy set woman
It's this was the
that was supposed
first.
to be the Queen of Gwendolyn.
I have to. It's been like a decade since I've watched Thor. I'll have to go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's the one. God, the
Is it an
one
ad?
with Jeff Goldblum. The one with Jeff Goldblum in it.
That's Ragnarok.
Ragnarok. Yeah, thank you.
I was thinking the first one.
No,
Yeah,
Ragnarok.
yeah. You mean the game master's like assistant?
Yeah,
I don't know anything about her,
yeah. Look in the credits. Look her name in the credits, and then you'll see it's like, oh shit, that's freaking from Ultra Force.
but I read a comic where Gen 13, the group takes a vacation to Metropolis, and they
Right.
team up with Superman.
Mm.
There's a comic of Savage Dragon where he's a police officer in Chicago. He goes to Metropolis, and they mention how all the buildings in Metropolis are lined with lead because of Superman. I'm thinking Metropolis must have like the highest cancer rate in the world.
Yeah, most likely.
But there's
Oh
so many.
shoot, somebody's got. Let me see. Hang on. Let me make sure here. No, they don't have it there. Hang on. Okay, Internet Archive has the Savage Dragon cartoon.
Yes, Jim Cummings did the voice of Dragon.
Hmm.
It's freaking Winnie the Pooh and Darkwing Duck.
I got to sit down and watch that now.
It was like that gritty '90s kind of Spawn esque comic book cartoon. I don't
Mhm.
remember I don't remember what station it was on. I think it was on UPN, so it was a little gritty. It was dark.
Yeah, it was on UPN. It was well, it was was it Saturday or Sunday morning? The Ultra Force was on Sunday mornings also.
I think that might be why I never watched Ultra Force until like I grew up because I'd go to church every Sunday morning as a
Oh,
kid.
Ultra Force was great. The series.
Primus was a good one. Was a good
Oh,
character, and
yeah, it was the whole thing. And they had how whatever that pumpkin head guy and all that freaking shit. That
uh,
was
he was like he could bring back the dead and talk to him. I know who you're talking about.
no Ghoul. That's Ghoul.
That's cool. I don't remember the pumpkin head.
Pumpkinhead was the villain. He was like a gangster villain with a pumpkin head on there, and it was
I
like
don't
he had a
remember
kid.
that.
Yeah, it's in the credit. Like you watch the credits and it roll, and he's in the credits.
But like Primus was like a cross between like the real Captain Marvel and the Hulk.
Yeah,
Kind of. He was a kid in a superhero's body.
yeah. And it was like he was like all this goo.
Yeah, and like if he got beat up on too much, the goo would like fly off of him like gore and blood, and he'd transform back into his kid form.
Yeah, I mean
Uh,
there was one thing I hated that they killed off the tech girl
hmm
that she died of radiation poisoning.
Yeah, uh, I'd love to see more Wildcats. We did see in the Flashpoint Paradox movie Grifter. Um,
Yeah, Grifter was supposed to show up in a lot of the DC
yeah,
universe. You know,
I just
they
remember
were, yeah,
he
go ahead.
was being attacked by a group of Amazons, and that he was just getting lit up with arrows. And as he's getting lit up, boom, headshot, boom. He's taking out Amazons one after another while getting lit up.
Mhm.
To like the kill shot's a shot to the head, and right after he gets shot in the head with the arrow, boom, he takes out the last Amazon and falls over dead. Grifter is such a cool character.
It is, yeah. Grifter, yeah.
He
I love
reminds me of like Wolverine and like Deadshot almost, like the
I'm
perfect
gonna have to
name.
watch this tonight. That we're talking about. I'm gonna have to watch this tonight
I
when we get
like
off here.
I'd like the excuse me, I can't stop yawning. I like the
Oh, I'm gonna feel the same. I feel the same way. It was a
s-
long day yesterday.
I like the story of it, like that ancient war kind of um, spilling onto like modern day Earth in the Wildcats,
Oh yeah.
and like,
I mean,
but
all those characters were really good. Even the villains, they were
oh
really good.
yeah, they were well done.
It was well done. That should have went mainstream.
It should have, and I think
Yeah.
I remember the TV shows. I think were probably before Marvel bought them, because I don't know when like, it was Malibu Comics. Was that the comic company that did
No,
like
Wildcats was. Hang on.
basically these franchises were bought out by DC for the most part, and Marvel, the big two, bought these smaller companies, and they kind of just pushed them to the side.
Yeah, Wildstorm.
Yeah, but who bought Wildstorm? I think Wildstorm was bought by DC. I think.
Well,
I'm not,
the TV series is run by Nelvana now
mm,
and released through CBS. It's like a CBS has the rights to it.
okay.
Now, let me see the comic. Hold on. Hang on, folks. We'll checking this out for you while the comments.
But the
Brandon
characters
Joe, Jim Lee.
the characters in Wildcats
Image.
were
It was Image.
Image. Okay.
It was
Yeah.
Image, and of course it's DC now. Now it's considered DC.
Yeah. The Wildcats had great characters like Zealot, Warblade. I can't remember the giant guy's name.
I think it was Giant Guy.
I know. Was it giant? Spartan, which was like just basically the android. He'd get a superpowered android who'd get destroyed and just rebuilt over and over again.
Hang on.
It had great characters.
It was Zealot, Grifter, Voodoo,
Voodoo.
Savant, Ladytron,
Yes. I don't remember those characters.
Warblade,
Warblade, I remember that character.
and Maul.
Maul was the giant one who could change his
Yeah,
size.
yeah,
And then they had one. The leader was like a Spartan was his name, right?
right. Well, it was like two of them were born of the original
Yeah,
aliens. They were left over from the original alien bloodline. The
yeah,
others are descendants of the
yeah.
bloodlines.
And I like that trope. Like you have that gene that can be activated for your powers.
All
I'll
right,
tell you.
before we get
I'll,
into the last thing
yeah,
tonight, let's get a little palate cleansing. Now, today, if you saw Jason's show, they were talking about the Golden Globes, and of course, he put a little Sydney Sweeney and that ring girl in the background, and I said to him, I says, you need two others there. You need two others, and I say, throw in the ladies of Landman, Allie Lauder, and what's her daughter's name again? Oh God.
I don't know.
No, I had it up here a second ago. Oh, Michelle Randolph. No, Ali Lauder has been in a lot. Resident Evil, Heroes,
Yeah,
yeah, on there. Michelle Randolph is new, and let me tell you something. If you Landman, this is what they're mostly wearing in Landman in the series. A lot of bikinis, especially for Texas. Surprisingly, because it's like every other episode, it's like she Ali Lauder is in some sort of risque outfit, or she's in a bikini, or the daughter's training to be cheerleader in a bikini. You know, but I got to give it to them. I got to give it up to Taylor Sheridan for last night's episode because I thought they were going to twist it in a woke direction. Uh,
that's right. She was in Varsity Blues. She had the
yeah.
famous
Oh yeah.
whipped
Yeah.
cream
Now you
bikini.
remember.
I
Yep.
forgot about that. That
Yep.
that is one of the seminal moments in movie history for a '90s guy.
Yeah, exactly. If you haven't seen Varsity Blues, Ali Lauder. I was going to post that picture up, but I didn't know if the
You get
YouTube
in
gods would
trouble for
slam me.
that.
Huh?
You probably get in trouble for that.
Yeah, exactly. So I said, let's go with the safer one, the one that they've been posting online on every other service, which is all the landman stuff. But yeah, they kind of went into a woke direction last night, but not directly, and it was just basically I was like, oh. I was like saying right because there's only one episode left for this Sunday. I said, God, I was gonna say, God damn, they went woke on episode 9 before episode 10. But what it was that Michelle Randolph's character, uh, basically, she went to cheerleader camp and preparing to go back to university, and she gets a roommate, and the roommate is totally they them I'm not into meat. I'm not into chemicals. You can't have this. Can't have music. Blah 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 blah. Blah. The whole typical three. And I said, oh, is this? She's gonna have this roommate for the freaking rest of the season and going into season 3. And then suddenly the mother shows up, Ali Lauder, and then she's like, got some several choices. This girl doesn't respect. She could have had a friend. I'm gonna put her up in an apartment. She goes out and gets the most expensive hotel in the area, and freaking puts them up and says, "Bring the cheerleader team, have some fun in the pool, drinks and stuff."
She was in 1923, so this is the second Sheridan show she's done.
Yeah,
She's going to be in Scream 7 coming up sometime this year.
yep,
Okay.
yep. Ladies and gentlemen, that's what it is. The ladies on there. There's two others. I'll probably post that next week. But yeah, they're on there. But anyway, let's get to the last what we're going to be talking tonight, and of course, it is Star Trek Academy. Whee! Oh my God. I know episode 1 and 2 is supposed to air on Thursday,
Yeah.
and there's been a lot out there to the situation. And I'm going to start off with this because already they've pissed off the fans.
No, they haven't. Robert Picardo has.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
If this is the thing though,
Sorry, wrong
back
one.
in the day, back like 10, 15 years ago, studios could keep their actors mouth fucking shut. Actors knew I can't say this shit. Nowadays, it's just like I'll say whatever I want and I'll still get a job. If I say the right thing, if I think the right way, I'll still get a job no matter who I piss off.
And I'm going to
Those
read
are
this off. What Robert
ugliest
Ricardo said.
uniforms I've ever
Yeah.
seen.
Long before the term existed, Star Trek heart was woke, and even though the word has been hijacked and made a crutch to insult, to ridicule, and toxic extremes of social media to justify prejudice and racism, Star Trek heart is strong and beating for those who listen. I'm sorry, Robert, you lost us there because Star Trek was never fucking woke. If you saying that it's woke, you don't understand what Star Trek is. We liked you in Voyager. We respected you in Voyager. Now you lost our respect.
I mean, Star Trek 709, that show, back
Yeah.
when 709 came in, because she was fucking one of the producers, Jerry Ryan was in a relationship, I think, with one of the writers and one of the producers. That's the reason she got that job and was raising her part got so big. I I hate these characters. I meant talking about this last night. I hate the characters who are arrogant for no freaking reason. 7 of 9 comes into Voyager and just starts ordering people around. But she's a Borg. She's smarter than others. I don't give a fuck. She is still a low man on the totem pole in the hierarchy of the of Voyager. She should not have been giving Ensign Kim, an officer, any orders whatsoever like she would do. I hated the way they portrayed her. This is the same kind of crap I think I'm expecting to see Thursday.
Well,
More
yeah, well, on there. Um, Meanwhile, oh man, I can't believe he showed up. Let's add this guy to the screen. Death Angel Shadows just joined us to ridicule a little bit more on
shadows.
Star Trek. Hey,
Came at the right time. Are you muted?
Jeff.
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, we can hear
Okay.
you now.
I,
Good.
I would assume they killed you off.
No. So
You ended up surviving that game.
he tried. He tried to kill us.
Son of a bitch.
He threw a vampire at us, and three vampire thralls, and and our followers that one of us had picked up carousing last time. They had picked up six followers. Wound up killing them with clubs, and we took out the vampire, and like we all critted the vampire. So
Oh, I remember that. I remember one time, my DM tried to throw a mummy lord at us, and we beat the mummy lord hands down. And he rolls on a table for loot. He rolls for me, looks at me dead in the eyes. He said, "You are the luckiest son of a bitch I've ever played with." The loot he rolled for me was a luck blade with not one, not two, but 3 wishes a day.
yeah,
I had the power to destroy that game if I wanted to. But I'm like, no, it's his first time really DMing. I'm gonna play nice.
yeah,
But looking back, I should have just like wished for the because you know how like if I didn't use all 3 wishes a day, it would recharge every day. Plus, I was a monk, so I had my key points plus a luck point. So my character was so overpowered with that thing.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
But getting back to this, from what I understand from Starfleet Academy, we're going down the Mikey Berman road again. One character that basically he lost his mommy, and we gotta find his mommy. I want my mommy.
Computer and emergency medical hologram.
Delete PMH.
Delete.
Hey,
Let's have
computer,
the other medical
delete the
hologram. Maybe he
emergency
can do
medical
better.
hologram program.
Supposedly, the girl next to him, she's supposed to be a hologram also.
Are you fucking holograms are
The fat
citizens
girl?
now?
Yeah,
Oh wait, I'm sorry.
supposedly she's a hologram too. There's a secondary hologram in this series.
Oh, Lord.
For
Holograms
the
are people too. Hologram rights.
So we're dealing
Little
with Fem
people.
Hadars, a Klingon doctor, and holograms with civil rights issues.
Oh no. Gets worse.
Yes, that's what I told y'all about yesterday.
Yeah.
This in the show Bob Hart's Abashola, she played the like annoying, obnoxious best friend of the main female character. And I was watching a clip yesterday. She's a drill instructor
Yeah.
she's a Starfleet drill instructor, and she's got him in falling in line, and she's just tearing into him, and she stares down one of the cadets who starts crying and runs off through the rain. He's like, she gets this big smile on her face. I can always tell when there's a runner. Like,
And the thing is, that is nowhere near a Klingon or a Jem'Hadar. I mean,
I could see
as far as
the
attitude wise.
I could see a little bit of the rim on the forehead, maybe a little bit of Klingon.
No. I'm talking about the character trait
Yes.
itself. A Jem'Hadar doesn't really talk. They just
Jem'Hadars
stand there.
don't have dicks to reproduce.
That also.
Yeah.
They don't have a sexual drive. They don't eat. They don't drink. They don't gamble.
They don't sleep, I don't think.
They don't sleep. And then meanwhile, they combined the DNA of a Klingon and a Jem'Hadar. I mean,
That's
and then they
going to
got
be
this, and they got a female out of it. Who was in the Klingon Empire that said, "Hey, listen, let's just make a female version of it"? I mean, come on, really?
They already had their disgrace early on. This is supposed to be set in the 30th century or something.
31st,
right?
I think, maybe.
Yeah. So what about 800 years before or so they already had their genetic disaster supposedly, right? And that the canon now for the explanation. I think we were talking about this the other day where
I don't know anything about it. All I know is about the burn, which was the stupidest thing that ever came out of Star Trek Discovery.
Well, not only the burn destroyed everything. What happened to the Time War?
Yeah, they glossed over all that.
They glossed over the freaking Time War.
Yeah.
Because now, if you think about it, the Doctor better not use his mobile emitter, because that's like 300 or 400 years out of like obsolete now.
It's no longer compliant. It hasn't gotten its Windows updates.
Well, no, you have to remember from
it got its Windows like 9 or 10 update and started glitching out.
Yeah.
Well, no, now it's what is it? I forgot the name of the episode. Was it Message in a Bottle on Voyager?
Yeah, the one with Andy Dick.
With Andy, with Andy
EMH Mark II.
Yeah, that basically they're able to put holographic emitters all over the place,
all over the ship. Yeah.
So
they didn't think of that was a good idea. With Voyager was the most advanced ship in the fleet supposedly when they launched, but they didn't think about that.
And they used Andy Dick.
Well,
yeah.
Didn't they get Transwarp Drive or something at one point? Wasn't
they got everything? They got everything to a point, and it just basically got lost. I mean, remember, we got a point where in Star Trek Next Generation, we were not supposed to be going above warp 5 because of the damage it was going to do to the universe.
Yeah, that got dropped fast.
Yeah, it was like, they did the episode, and the writers was like, why the fuck did we just put us back about a freaking 500 years, back to the warp 5 era.
Let me just say this though. The makeup does look good. It looks well put together, well put on. It's just the lore, like out of universe. In real life, the makeup looks good. I would say that. Like,
she doesn't look any different.
Really, Shat? Really?
No, the thing
she doesn't. I mean, she's a little paler, a little more ashen colored, but no, not really. She still looks the same to me.
You got to remember, besides Kurtzman, you know who else is the showrunner on this series? Is Noga Landu, who did basically The Magicians and the Nancy Drew series.
Oh, Lord.
Here we go again. hiring a showrunner that has no science fiction
But
experience at all.
where I'm coming from, okay, so if you've seen Michael Dorn out of
Yes.
makeup, and you'll have seen Michael Dorn in makeup, in
Yes.
costume, as Worf,
Hmm.
he does not look at all the same.
Yes, that's true.
Same
She
thing with
looks the
Gowron.
same. She looks the damn same.
No, look at Gowron. The actor who plays
Yes.
Gowron on the series
Oh yeah,
doesn't look like when you take his makeup off, you're like,
Still
that's
got those
Gowron?
eyes though. It's got those crazy eyes.
He's got them
yeah.
crazy eyes. There's a story behind that too, and I was laughing. I heard about it the other day because I do that to my wife. That basically, I do the little eye thing. He goes, we don't forgive and we don't forget. To that point, she laughs, and I said,
Like
I told,
I was watching. Watching this. I think it was in the early '90s. They did a Zorro TV series, an American version, and I'm watching like the military captain. I'm like, that voice sounds familiar. I look it up. It's Martok.
yeah,
Mm.
I'm like,
yeah.
holy
Same thing with his
shit.
makeup. Martok makeup is also you don't recognize. You're like, that's Martok.
Those were two of my favorite Klingons.
You know who was a Klingon in this series? It was funny because they did it for E News back in the day, Entertainment News Tonight. The original host, the male host on Entertainment.
Um, the guy who did before um, not the current host America's Funniest Home Videos, but the one before.
Bob Saget, the one who's dead.
No,
Oh.
no. There's been like 6 or 7 different hosts of America's Funniest Home Videos.
Okay, I haven't watched it since Bob Saget was on it. So
You got Carlton. Carlton is the original one. The guy who did America's Funniest Home Videos and Dancing with the Stars. He was the host, one of the hosts on there.
Carlton from
It was also
Fresh
with Mary
Prince.
Hard.
He's the current host of. He's been doing this for like 20 years now.
Wait, wasn't it Bob Saget?
Bob Saget was the original one.
Okay.
And then,
all right. See, I haven't watched since Bob Saget. So.
And then you had a Daisy Fuentes and another guy. They did it for a while.
Yeah.
And one of them was basically played a Klingon in an episode.
No, this is America's Funny. Like, I can't remember his name, but the third iteration of America's Funniest Home Videos, that host, he played alien on Enterprise.
Mm-hmm.
Who has he has breakfast with the captain in the mess, and he's like, oh, coffee beans. And he's like, I'll trade you. Archer's like, hey, I'll trade you something for coffee beans if you. Oh, that'd be lovely. What was his name?
John Tesh.
Nope.
No, that's who was the Klingon.
Tom Bergeron.
Yeah, but it was John. I got it. It was John Tesh when they were doing Entertainment Tonight with John Tesh and Mary Hart, and it was the episode. Worf was going through that whole thing with the paint sticks. So the ritual.
Was he one of the?
He was one of the Klingons in the holograph room.
I know the Prince of Saudi Arabia. He played a tech, like an engineering tech, on an episode of Voyager. And Seth MacFarlane was one of the engineering officers on the Columbia during Enterprise. He's like has Trip is like telling him what they need to do, and he starts like asking questions.
Mm-hmm.
I remember Ashley Judd did an episode of Next Generation, and she will deny that she ever did Star Trek.
And see, the worst part about it is there's an article from TrekMovie.com, and it's an article with Kurtzman and the other showrunner Noga, and it seems like they've shot season 2 to this.
Really, that's optimistic.
Because it's like the line is no, actually it's like the question is, I know things are complicated now at Paramount, but do you have any idea when season 2 will air? Kurtzman, no, actually we don't. We just are about to wrap. I can tell you it'll take us about a year to finish editing a season. I'm about to go off and direct the finale of season 2 right now. So you're kind of looking at a year, no matter what my guess is. But if I say um, we want to rush it, that's the kind of option. But that's always better not to rush. Is the truth. He said, so you're finishing in February. I said, yeah, the end of February. So somehow in this groove, there might be a season 2, might be, but I don't think it's the ratings are not going to be there.
Gabrielle Union played a Klingon.
Yep.
She was Deep Space Nine, Sons and Daughters. The Rock played a wrestler in his Voyager episode. It was his first acting role.
Oh,
That was I think even before the Mummy. Stephen Hawking did an episode of Next Generation. Sarah Silverman was in Future's End, which is 2 of my favorite episodes, but she makes it unwatchable for me. Got Kelsey Grammer as what's his name? He's the captain of in the Next Generation episodes Cause and Effect.
So here's where Gina talks about her role as a Jem'Hadar Klingon. As the question to her is like, so fans are obvious fascinated that you're a Jem'Hadar / Klingon. Are we going to dig into that a lot? And will fans be learning your origin story? It says, well, it all depends on how many seasons we get. She laughs. But yeah, I'm sure obviously it's going to be a slow burn. Not something you want to say, because we don't want to give all the information out right now at the beginning. We want you to build a love for the show, and I'm sure her story will come out. Well, it has to because people are curious that they're like, Jem'Hadar can't procreate. There are no women Jem'Hadar, so how's it going to come out at some point? It's like, oh my god. It's like, why did you do it?
The only way I think they could get out of this is if she was genetically created, but
It's the only
in a
way.
certain way.
It's the only way.
That is the
possible.
only possibility. But still, you know, the parameters to that, you would have to completely change the parameters. Whoever created the Jem'Hadar originally, the scientists that created the Jem'Hadar, they created it into one level. As far as the pattern and everything like that, and you had that episode in Deep Space Nine where Odo was raising one.
Yes.
And you saw that basically, that you saw the growth pattern.
Yeah.
I mean, wow, she was nurtured and grown overnight. Where did her education come from?
The guy who played the Predator did a role in the Next Generation too. Sorry, I'm listening. I'm just reading too.
Yeah. But basically, where did her education come? Jem'Hadar are grown and born to battle.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. It's in their DNA. It's in their,
Their motto in life is victory is life. Remember, there's when they're being given their catcher cell white, there's this whole thing about at this moment you are dead.
Yeah,
in victory, you gain life. Victory is life. Something along the lines, something really, really well written back in the day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like they just tossed it into the garbage at this point.
That's what the problem with a lot of these franchises. They're at this point now. They have such young. This is where I'm coming. This is where we disagreed about Star Trek or Star Wars. I'm optimistic because now you have someone. Dave Filoni knows the lore, knows the franchise, knows the history. Kennedy couldn't give 2 shits about lore. So with Dave Filoni coming in, I'm kind of like, okay, now we have someone who knows what he's doing, who knows the story.
But he doesn't.
But he wasn't the past few years. He has not been in control.
I know that, and he's not going to be in control when he takes the helm. He's still going to have a lot of Kathy's people in there.
But he's taking Kathy's place, so he's going to be able to tell them what to do.
Yeah, really. Have you seen some of these writer rooms lately? They don't listen. This is the reason where we at. the problems that we're going through right now, because basically they don't listen to the producers, they don't listen to the directors, they just basically write it along, and basically the studio says do whatever they write. And that's plain and simple to the problems that we are having today. We're in 2026 now. How many shows, science fiction, drama, comedy have been freaking just awful? Can you name something in the last decade that is truly worthy to be put into the history books of broadcast television?
That's why I said I'm cautiously optimistic.
I'm always. I haven't watched the last Star Trek I've watched. Technically, was the end of Enterprise. When they got into the Mickey Byrne situation, yeah, I watched 1 or 2 episodes, but that was it. I saw what was going on, and then the lawsuits were coming in on there. If you remember the lawsuits,
Yeah, I remember that whole story. That's why I've argued with many people that Babylon 5, Deep Space Nine and Discovery are stolen ideas. And I will die on that hill as long as I live. I've seen too much about. I've looked into the video game tardigrades way too much. Not to. They basically ripped off the video game from the video game. The
oh
look of the
yeah,
Oh,
characters.
from the one guy.
Yeah,
yeah.
he was a Middle East. He couldn't sue because he was on the completely opposite side of the world. He's from Egypt,
Well,
and
not only
two,
that, his family was ill.
that's what I'm trying. His father was sick at the time.
Right.
Deep Space Nine, JMS has said himself. He honestly believes Deep Space Nine was stolen. They got the idea from him when he went to Paramount and tried to sell Babylon 5. He said he was not. He said in the interview that I'll have to find the interview and send it to y'all. He said in the interview it was my first production, so I was the first time as showrunner. I did not want to wrap the production in a lawsuit that could derail the whole thing. So I just kept my mouth shut, and now after this, now I'm telling you. So and the similarities between the characters and the scenarios are way too similar for my taste.
Yeah, too damn close. Too damn close. But yeah, it's this. Like I said, I haven't watched any. Enterprise will be the last one I watch. None of this new shit that they've come out with. I don't want anything to do with it.
You watched when RoboCop went crazy and tried to destroy the world. Peter Weller played two characters in Star Trek. He played Admiral Marcus in the movies,
Oh
but
yes,
he
yes,
also
yes, yes.
also played that mining guy who wanted. He said he
Yeah,
took his
and-
mining laser and said, "I will destroy the Earth if aliens do not leave our solar system."
yeah,
They created the baby through genetic of T'Pol
yeah.
and Trip.
Because that all came up because of the Zindi after the Zindi War.
Yeah, the whole Zindi thing really made. And I think I'm not. I'm like I don't blame them. I don't blame the people for kind of freaking out like that. Kind of made them really all xenophobic.
8 million dead. That kind of pisses a lot of people off. Carve through a percentage of the planet, and you kill about almost 8 million people.
You destroyed my fucking hometown, bitch. They destroyed my fucking hometown, but they couldn't get it right on the map.
I know.
Yeah.
I found it. A lot of people found it hilarious. Like, because Tripp said his sister lived in Panama City but died at home. I'm like, Panama City's on the other end of the state, guys. Like, oh, I doxed myself. No, I've always told people like where I live.
Mm-mm-mm. But yeah, so Thursday, this is what's going to happen on Thursday. 2 episodes.
Of what?
Star Trek.
Academy.
Oh, I'm not watching that crap.
Neither am I. And I have Paramount. I could sit and watch it, but not going to watch it.
I won't pay to watch it.
I got better stuff to watch. I'm still trying to finish. I'm still trying to finish off Falling Skies. I'm almost out of season 4.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and then I got to get back to the following.
See, with me, with Star. Sorry,
Yeah, go ahead.
didn't mean to interrupt.
Go ahead.
Wait, what is this?
The thing with me with Star Trek, like everything we saw for the past 50 years in one season, in season 3 of Discovery, was just made moot. With the burn, because everything that we saw, Kirk, Picard, Cisco, Janeway, everything they built, all the wars they fought, in one moment in the burn was just made pointless. Because we looking back, you could see how everything turned out.
Now, did you see when you saw that scene with Gina here, and the girl ran off? Did you see the zoom out and what was the name of the garden?
Boothby Memorial Park. Yep. It was named after Boothby the gardener.
They would remember Boothby that far in the future. You know?
Well, the thing is, and that kind of bothers me too, because remember in the episode of Discovery, Earth is isolationist now. In
Yeah.
Discovery, they had to get permission to allow the the crew, the human crew of Discovery, to go home,
Hmm.
to come home. And there's this scene where there's an oak tree that they would say, oh, this big oak tree. They talked about this big oak tree they'd sit under on the Academy grounds, and it's still there.
Hmm.
But then they pan out and there's nothing around it. It's just woods.
And here's the biggest question I got to ask:
Hmm.
what happened to 8472?
That that has been a long-standing question.
Yeah, what happened to species 8472? Because they were afraid because of the weapon that Janeway and the Borg helped create.
Well, there's a comic book series that's coming out every month now that answers that question. I think they're on issue 4 that I've been reading.
Yeah, because you see now with all the new Star Trek, they eliminated the Xindi, they eliminated 8472. You know pretty much they eliminated the Dominion in one way or another.
Well,
They turned them back into during Picard. They turned a lot of them back into bad guys again.
it's called Star Trek Voyager Homecoming.
Mm.
Picks up right after the end of the final episode of Homecoming of Voyager.
Wait, the book?
This comic book series,
Comic book.
Oh.
and it has to do with 847, the species 8472.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say anything because I'm in the middle of reading it, and it's good. I'm enjoying it so far. See, we don't really know. We have never seen what before Picard. The last we saw of the Dominion was a brief mention, I think, in Insurrection, and them before that was them signing the treaty on Deep Space Nine. So, I liked what they did with the changelings in.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was it really showed, and this is one thing that Star Trek has never done really well: ramifications for one's actions from one episode to another. So it took us 30 years to really see the ramifications of Starfleet's choice to commit biological warfare, near genocide, on the founders. So it was interesting. And this is one thing, one thing Babylon 5 does better than Star Trek and really any other science fiction franchise. Babylon 5, the choices they make in one episode could come back and bite them in the ass 5 or 6 episodes later.
Yep.
We've seen that many times.
Yep. And once again, as we're closing out here, reminder, January 28th, Wednesday, special time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Peter Jurasik will be joining us on the Babylon 5 retrospective event. Be sure to get in your questions. We will have a listing down below in the description to a Sci-Fi Snobs Discord where you can leave the question there, or you can leave the question right in our own comments below. We'll make sure it gets over to Peter on there. We're going to be, if we're overwhelmed, we're just going to go through the questions and see what we can how many we can get answered within the time period that we have. But do check it out. This is going to be a really good event. I've spoken with Peter. He's excited to be on with us. He has watched some of our shows, so
Oh, we're in trouble
we're,
now.
we're in trouble
Well,
now,
and he still wants to show up.
and he still wants to show up. Oh,
That's
man.
great.
Yeah, that's great. And then, meanwhile, I believe tomorrow, live from the bunker, sci-fi for me, live with Jason Hunt. Be sure to catch his on his channel on there. More news, talk, everything on there for that. And then, of course, we have Sunday, 9 p.m.
Sunday,
Eastern.
Sunday.
Sunday, the Bad News Bards
Yeah.
with Def Angel Sounds and Cam. Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. What do you got this week?
I'm still working out if I'm gonna get a guest or if it's just gonna be Cam and I chewing the fat about some gaming stuff. Of course, I've got some gaming topics to talk about because but we did have a great guest yesterday on the show. We had Tom Wilson, who created ShireCon up in Connecticut, I believe it is, and he's got a lot of stuff on Drive-Thru and Lulu, and so it was a great conversation we had with him. Yeah, I
When
think
you
we went.
said Tom Wilson, I almost said fucking Biff.
Yeah, no, this
That's
is
Tom is a different
We said
Tom
this
Wilson.
the other day too on another stream.
Yeah, somebody else
said
said that. Yeah, it might have been you that said that. But I think somebody else mentioned that. You mean like Biff? And I'm like, no. It might have been Jason. Jason may have said.
He had Tom F. Wilson did one of my favorite. Like he was a guest on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson,
Yeah.
and he brings out a fucking sousaphone and does
Oh, wow.
like a 5-minute comedy bit with a sousaphone, and it's like for the band nerd in me, I'm just laughing my ass off.
And he was a great guy. In fact, he would. Of course, we lost Adam the Woo right before Christmas.
God, that was
Yeah, in fact,
heartbreaking.
actually, before his father has just posted a complete
Jeanette tried to watch it,
and I
but
couldn't watch it.
she couldn't get very far through it because
I couldn't watch it.
well, and I mean, we lived in the same town that his dad, Adam's dad, did. That I think his name is Jim, right?
Yeah,
James. Yeah, but man, I know where that church that he was a pastor of was. I grew up there.
These fucking leeches. I looked up the video. I'm going to try to watch it a little while when we're done here. But the very bottom under it, it says, "What they found in Adam the Woo's house will haunt you," and it's this huge mansion and this crappy CGI or crappy like
Well,
Photoshop.
let me tell you,
picture.
I've been all over Celebration.
Oh, his Celebration house is a nice house.
They're
there's
nice.
nothing wrong.
They're nice house. No, but they're
No,
not.
this is a
mansions.
giant mansion.
They're not
this picture.
mansions. They're in fact they're zero lot lines.
Yeah,
they're very
I never liked houses like that.
They're very well
Yeah.
manicured. There's no driveways in the front. They have all the driveways are in the back.
Yeah.
They've got like an alleyway that runs, and it was a design city. It was a town that was designed by Disney. So,
have y'all ever watched the Truman Show?
Yes.
Well, actually, it's a sister city. The city that they filmed the Truman Show in is a sister city of.
That's right next door. That's literally I could 30-minute drive from my house.
Oh, that town is.
Yeah, I was in the 4th grade when the Truman Show was filmed and came out, and I have a lot of friends whose parents were extras in that movie.
Extras in it, yeah.
They wanted like a manicured, like fake looking town, and they found Seaside, Florida.
Yeah, and
beautiful place, but you need to be a millionaire to live in that town.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is true. The rumors growing up when they were building it was you don't actually own the land that your house is built on. When you buy a house, you lease it for 99 years. and all kinds of weird things. Now, again, I don't know if that's actually true.
I never heard that. I
That
need
was
to
that
look
was the
into that.
rumor. That was the rumor that
In Celebration or in
yeah, that
Seaside?
that in Celebration,
Oh, that makes
that the
sense.
property, of course, the property is no longer owned by Disney. I'm sure they had to divest of
Yeah.
it many
Yeah.
years ago. But
But continuing on, we also have Top Off the Lounge Sunday night, 11 p.m. Eastern. I don't know what they're doing this week. Oh, what are they doing? Movie night, I think, this week.
I think so. I think it is movie
Yeah,
night.
I think it's
think-
movie night,
I think
or
that's
the
what
movie
Tom
night's the
said.
week after. I know they're doing what is it, Damnation Alley and Zardoz. So if you're on the Discord, vote for one of those.
Vote for it. Yeah.
Vote for Zardoz.
I've never seen either one of those, so
Zardoz is
Yeah,
great.
I need to look. I'll look into them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Wednesday it is the Babylon 5 retrospective.
at our normal time.
At the
next
normal
week.
time,
Yes.
11
Yeah.
p.m. Eastern. This week it's episode 5, Voices of Authority.
I need to watch that.
Drawl is back, and we get a nude scene.
Ooh.
One of the only.
Scandalous.
Yes, we get a
Yeah.
scandalous nude scene, and Sheridan goes where every man has gone before.
As long as it's Susan, I'll be fine.
Oh no! Wait for it. Just wait for it. So we're gonna leave off on that for tonight. Tomorrow we got Madman with the show. We got 2 videos. One is the repeat of the announcement of the Peter Jurasik announcement. For those of you who have missed it, we will be showing that at 3 p.m. Eastern right here on YouTube and Rumble. And we got a couple other stories on Tuesday and Wednesday. Otaku Thursday will be returning back in February as soon as we get through the Jurassic event on there, because I've taken up a lot of time on that. So until next Monday.
Hold on.
Okay.
What do you got?
This Thursday, I will be doing my own
Oh,
movie stream. I'll be
I'm
talking
sorry.
about some of my favorite movies. I've got a list of like 12. So for the next few weeks, I'm going to be trying to do a Thursday night stream talking about my favorite movies or TV shows, my favorite sci-fi TV shows from the 90s and 2000s. So look forward to that.
My favorite things.
I shared my list yesterday, which it's a good list. I honestly believe it's.
It is a good list. It is a good list. I could spec for that. You know?
So look for that from the Outpost.
What time?
I'm looking at 7 p.m. Central.
7 p.m. Central, so that makes it 6 p.m. Eastern, right here on YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. So be sure to mark your calendars. Mark your calendars on that. So until next time, we'll see you next Monday, 8 p.m. Eastern, right here, as I figure out what we're going to talk about next week.
We'll find out if I'm dead.
We're going to find out if Jeff is dead, if deader than Disco. You know, hopefully by the time they kill him off, he'll be back on the show permanently, right here on the Madman Cafe, because we need him back here. You know.
Aww. I'm feeling special now.
So until next time, thank you for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.
See ya.